What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story comes from the True Off My Chest subreddit from Net Curiosity, who says, "Guilted into contributing to a family member's wedding, and I feel upset." So basically, as the title says, I'm being guilted to help pay for a family member's wedding, and I can't help but feel upset. My family is of the mindset that family helps family, and although objectively I have a better paying job, so I seem better off, they also have more financial obligations: student loans, car, home, miscellaneous expenses for other family members. I recently got a promotion, and I thought if I saved frugally, I could pay off my student loans this year and have some nice savings in the next year or so for a new home as my family is growing. Out of the blue, we have a family member getting married, and although I'm happy for them, my mum told me she already made a promise that I will help financially. I have already provided $10,000 and I will be expected to provide more soon. I feel upset and I feel like trash. I know this makes me seem like a doormat, and I promise I'm usually not like this. But what else can I do when I get told that they don't have anyone else to go to besides me, and that finally things are looking up for them, and things will get better, and that our family finally has some good news to be happy about? I know I could have pushed back and said no, but I would have felt bad about it, and I would not have felt happy that my one decision led to more problems for more people. I tried placating myself that it's okay. They are family and I love them, and they're paying me back, so it's okay. But I can't stop feeling that because someone else wants to do things beyond their means, I have to be financially liable for their decisions. I was finally on my way to financial freedom, and now I have to start again from zero. And the costs for the wedding that I have to bear are not going to end here, which makes me even more upset. I just wanted to get this off my chest since I can't really tell anyone else about it without being seen as a prick or something. Basically, mate, now is the time you need to say no. You need to start putting those boundaries in place, or this will just keep continuing time and time again. I'm trying to think of it from the other person's point of view. OP's mum, who's like offered OP's money for someone else's wedding. That shit is wild. And sometimes you just need to be blunt with people. You know, what's going to happen in the end when you say no to them? They could get angry, but is that a you problem? No, it's not. This is down to them, their entitlement towards your money, which is just ridiculous. So tell them no. In the comments, No Narwhal says, "You shouldn't start something you aren't going to continue doing. Guess what? You are now the person to bankroll everyone else's wedding. You need to start placing the boundary now. No more money is coming, that is it. Otherwise they will keep coming with their hands out. You may ruffle feathers because of this, but they aren't entitled to your money." Engo Calor says, "I don't even want to pay for a wedding for myself. No way in hell I'll pay for someone else's. I'm sorry, but you're a dummy for letting your family walk all over you. And I'm telling you this as someone who belongs to a culture where family is a big thing and we're expected to help each other. A wedding is a stupid thing to spend money on if you can't pay for it yourself. If your mum promised someone money, she can pay for it out of her own pocket. If they can't understand why it's wrong, then I would unfamily them." And my here or there says, what else can you do? Are you serious? You're an adult. If you say no, guess what? Nothing happens to you. If your family flips their shit over it, that's their problem. You don't have to pay for shit. And for the love of Pete, stop giving people details on your life. You're an adult. Start acting like it. You don't have to give money to anyone unless you owe them or it's genuinely a gift and not a demand. I'd rather be homeless than ever offer my son's money to someone else. The audacity of your mother to give away your money is sickening. Or keep setting yourself on fire to keep them warm. Then never repay you and only ask you for things you can give them. Either grow a spine or lay flatter. Always be Batman says to the OP, "How does your family know that you have that kind of money? If they can't afford the wedding, they need to cut things out to meet their budget." OP says, "My parents know about my promotion, and although they don't know exactly how much money I have, They're known to make assumptions. If I ever tell them that I don't have that kind of money, they start questioning me and make lots of assumptions and guilt me by saying things like, "I thought we could depend on you," and so on. I 100% agree that they need to cut things to meet their budget, but what concerns I have voiced fell on deaf ears. It's the whole family weddings are just like this debacle. Opie came into the post 2 weeks later and said, "I don't think anyone cares to read this, but posting it more as a reminder to myself to stick firm to my decision. A few other things have happened between my original post and now, and I went low contact with my parents and no contact with my cousin and the rest of the family. I tried to explain to them why I can't keep funding the wedding and other major milestones, and they would not understand. This was just the tip of the iceberg for me, and I didn't realize it fully until I started talking. I ended up talking about how they made me feel over the years, how they essentially bullied me over my weight and looks from a young age. A 10-year-old does not need to be told that she needs to be skinny because guys like skinny women. And if I'm not skinny, I won't find a guy to marry me. Mind you, sure, I was a bit chubby, but still pretty normal for a 10-year-old. Due to nearly 20 years of eating disorders, how they never celebrated my accomplishments like they did for my siblings or other cousins. How they put so many restrictions on me from a young age, but my siblings and cousins could do whatever they wanted, etc. The more I talked about it, the more I realized that they can't take advantage of me, my money, time and energy, when it's convenient for them, and they won't even reciprocate with basic understanding. I was done with the BS about family and culture and whatnot, so yeah, I ended up blocking my extended family, going low contact with my parents, and my parents are in charge of collecting the money from the relatives and paying it back to me. And I'm glad that Opie was finally able to stand up for themselves, put their boundaries in place and realize what was going on in their family life was just not normal. And like I always say, I know it's easy for us, especially me, behind a microphone to say, walk away, put your boundaries up, etc. But when you've been normalized for this kind of behavior for such a long time, this is your normal growing up, you've lived with these parents all your life. This behavior towards you is normal. It's got to be hard to break that cycle, but I am glad that Opie has done it. So well done, Opie. And now, what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from the True Off My Chest subreddit and says, "I'm planning to elope because my parents are trying to make me agree to letting my sister's boyfriend propose to my sisters. Maybe this is the wrong place, but I'm going to explode with rage and disappointment at my family. My baby sister is the golden child, or maybe that's unfair to say. She survived cancer when she was a child. It was the darkest period of my parents' life. I don't remember much of it because my parents shielded me from the horrific truth. I knew she was sick and I remember all my childhood spent in hospitals, but never did I know that my sister almost died until many, many years later. I was 12 and she was 10. After she beat her sickness, she became the obvious favorite in the house. She got everything she wanted and sometimes it was at my expense. I resented that, but I always heard that I was a naughty girl for being jealous of my hero sister. My sister grew up to be a brat. Now 20 years later, she's still bratty, although we get along a lot better than when we were teenagers/young adults. My wedding is in July. Neither my fiance nor I have the money for a big wedding. We settled for a small wedding, 30 people, at my fiance's grandparents who have a beautiful house with a lake view. My parents, when they heard this, said no way and offered to pay for a bigger wedding and better venue. We didn't agree at first, but later we did not want to disappoint them. It seemed like it was important to them. Last week my mum invited me over. My dad, mum and my sister's boyfriend asked me what I think if my sister's boyfriend proposed to my sisters during the wedding that becomes an engagement party as well as a wedding. Mum has seen reels on Instagram about people proposing to maid of honors and bridesmaids and thought it was cute. My sister is my maid of honor. I said no, that's ridiculous, and laughed. My mum was livid. She told me I was selfish and ungrateful and I accused her of favoritism. I told her I always thought it was odd that you'd pay for my wedding, but now I know the reason why. She started crying and kicked me out of the house. Later, both she and my future brother-in-law sent me texts warning me from exposing their plan to my sister. My fiance was disappointed, but not sure what we could do. My parents have spent almost $30,000 and it's too late to cancel. My mother called me today to plan the proposal and I begged her not to ruin my day. She told me since she was paying she can make requests and that I should let go of my jealousy and resentment towards my sister because she's innocent in all of this. But the thing is, this day will be about my sister. I told my fiance to ask her grandparents if they're still willing to host my wedding. If they are, I'll revert to our original plan. If not, I will just elope. Not sure yet if I'm going to tell my family and cancel the wedding or just let them have their grand proposal party. None of my family is invited to my wedding, including my sister. Thank you for listening. I think it's great that your sister survived cancer, but the way you've been treated after that is just completely sad. It sounds like you've been put at the back your whole life, and there's this one day that's meant to be about you, and that's being taken over as well by your parents who's paid for your wedding, but it's coming at a cost. So I wouldn't blame you for eloping or reverting to your very first plan, but I just want to say that I'm sorry that you're having to go through this in the first place. Incredibly sad that family is treating you like this. Cryogenic X says uninvite them. Go do the wedding at the grandparents' house and let your sisters and parents have a $30,000 engagement party. Great that your sister survived cancer, but your parents put you on a back burner your whole life. Now it's your turn to enjoy it. Do what's best for you. Dubs and 49ers says that's messed up, and you are right, this was all pre-planned. If you do have it at fiance's grandparents, will you invite your family? Seems they can't stand you to be the center of attention, even on a day you should be. Inquisitive Pilgrim says lots of comments seem to delight in the ways you can cause maximum pain to those who've offended you. Mostly I want to say how sad I am that instead of looking forward to what should be a wonderful day for you and your future husband, that you're finding yourself having to do damage control and grieve broken relationships. I don't have any idea as to how you can fix this. Only thing that I do suggest is that you do your best to come out of this being able to feel good about your choices, what you say, what you do. You don't have to make your family happy or do what they want. You're not required to have an ongoing relationship with them. You do have to live with yourself through the years. Do things in a way that makes you proud of you. And one final comment which says, I remember attending a wedding where one of the cousins came up after the best man speech and asked for the mic. He then called up his girlfriend to the dance floor in front of the bride and groom's table, got down on one knee and proposed. It did not go over well with any of the bride's family, for obvious reasons. It was a dick move. The only thing that topped that for drama in that family was when another cousin confronted two of her male relatives for molesting her when she was a young teen. They were 4 and 5 years older, at the wedding. Ironically, it was at the wedding of the couple that got engaged in paragraph 1. The confrontation happened in the bar rather than on the dance floor. It literally tore that family apart. It didn't go over well with the bride and groom either. I was dating another cousin, and we broke up soon after, but it was pretty fucking heated in the bar that night. So, sometime later, OP came in with their update and said, I really want to thank everyone that showed me support. I'm now happily married in Como, Italy for my honeymoon. I tried to stay away from my phone, but I was so curious to see my family's reaction to my elopement a week earlier than planned. It was really ugly. I must start with saying I really tried my best to negotiate and compromise with my family and truly explain that this was hurting me. I have nothing against my sister, and to be honest, nothing against her getting engaged on my wedding, but the principle that it was made very clear to me that I had absolutely no opinion or say in what was going to happen on what's supposed to be my special day was where I drew the line. It wasn't a wish or a request, it was a matter of fact, and it was decided. So I told my mum that I'm not going to attend the party she's paid for. Maybe they should just make it an engagement party instead. She got very upset and told me that the engagement was supposed to be a surprise. I told her that I was just giving her a heads up since she's about to lose an insane amount of money. She didn't take me seriously, like I wasn't going to cancel my wedding because of a trivial thing. What she didn't know is that I've already made plans to get married a week earlier at my grandparents-in-law. We invited our closest friends, and some even had to book earlier flights and take more vacation days. For these people, I was extra grateful. What was left was my sister. I've been back and forth arguing and negotiating with my parents and future brother-in-law. I decided that even if this would ruin her surprise, I had to tell her, so I did. She wasn't really happy with my mum, but she was more upset that I ruined her surprise, and she, as I expected, thought I could have just sucked it up and gone with the flow. I didn't tell her about my new wedding date. The wedding was dreamlike. In the back of my head, I was hurt the people who loved me the most weren't there, but I pushed that thought away and refused to let it ruin our day. My husband was amazing. He promised to make me happy for the rest of my life and to make up for every heartbreak I've experienced in my past. My in-laws surprised us with upgrading our honeymoon to a 5-star hotel. I had my friends and some cousins and my favorite aunt attending. We asked them not to live stream or upload any pictures to social media until we're already on our honeymoon. We also asked them to not engage in any altercations online with my family. Today, my mum made a long Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram post bashing me and my husband, calling me ungrateful and disrespectful with pictures of my wedding. Telling people I've cost her a big chunk of her savings and now she's demanding compensation. A Facebook post was shared about 200 times and the majority of my extended family is angry with me. She never once tried to contact me. I really thought she would bombard my phone. Instead, both her and my dad announced that they're cutting me off and are expecting compensation. Future brother-in-law commented that I ruined his surprise, and my sister made a post about being tired of jealous bees and haters. None of the people we invited has commented, even though some of them were directly attacked, so they respected our wishes. I don't know if they're going to go ahead and turn the wedding into an engagement party now. I really hope they do so that the money isn't wasted. It's on Saturday. I'm sorry the update got too long, but the amount of people asking for an update, I hope this is what you wanted. P.S. English isn't my native language and it's too long of a post for proofreading, especially when it's written on my iPhone. And there was a comment from OP on if they had a party. It said, yes, they did, and they blew the internet with pictures and posts about how magical the night was. Little sister made sure to write about haters not ruining her special day and how she's surrounded by people that mattered. From what I gathered, about 30 to 40% of the guests that were invited showed up. Can't believe the absolute audacity of the mum after this, asking for compensation after trying to take over OP's wedding day in that way. So bizarre. But the top comment on this one said, congratulations, I'm so happy that you didn't go through with your mother's plan to steal your big day and that it was so happy. As a fellow child of narcissistic parents, I can tell you that trying to explain your side is a useless exercise, so do not waste the energy, especially on your honeymoon. Stay unreachable until you get back. I hate to say it, but the plan was to try and ruin your big day. So now she's going to try and ruin your honeymoon, especially since she was dealt such a large narcissistic injury. Don't engage, just enjoy yourself. You deserve it, especially after being so strong. The people who want to hear your side of the story will come to you, and there's no way that engagement party can go forward without at least pieces of the truth coming out that will make some of them cringe. It can hurt when people you like don't end up on your side. But remember that most people will side with a person they have the more direct relationship with. So for example, your uncle will side with your mother because she is a sister, and that has no bearing on whether or not you were right. They know that siding with you means severing that relationship because they know she's a narcissist. All the best wishes for happiness in your new life. You gained an amazing family, along with your husband who will take care of you for many years to come. I always do wonder what extended family members have been told about this situation because, if someone came up to me and told me this story about how they're trying to railroad their daughter to let someone else propose at their wedding, I'd be like, that's not right. So I can't help but wonder if everyone else is hearing the actual truth of the situation. Maybe they are. Maybe they're all assholes, right? But I'm not suggesting that OP do this, but part of me, myself, would want to know that. I'd want to ask, what have you heard about this? And do you think that's right? Just for my peace of mind, because I find that absolutely bizarre. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Yeah, man, I remember being so naive when life was good, weather and palm trees. Back in the day, you were everything I need. But then along came a time when you crushed my dreams. Oh yeah, you played me like a fool when you made me believe that the line between love wasn't thick enough to read. Oh yeah, you see we in despair, crime everywhere. You're selling false hope cause you just don't care. Nah, you just don't care. Nah, you just don't care.